Hey everybody, welcome to Carbon's DIY Garage. Thanks for visiting the channel. You're probably a first-time viewer, and if you are, this channel has a lot of content for a whole bunch of different vehicles. Some of it's preventative maintenance, some of it is regular good maintenance, when things break. There's lots of playlists on the channel, so go check out the rest of the channel after you watch this video. And if you would like to see more of this content, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification, and if nothing else, give this video a thumbs up. And I always try to reply to comments and questions as best as I can. Video description has a lot of information in it, and overall, thanks for stopping by. So in today's video, we are going to be working on the brakes, and specifically we're going to be flushing the brake fluid out of this 2011 Jeep Wrangler JKU. There are a couple different methods you can use to flush your brake system. One is to use a pressure flush kit. Another one is to use a two-person method, basically bleeding your brakes, but just for longer at each caliper. I'm going to do it with just by myself, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. And it's a pretty straightforward, easy process. And the first thing you do is you start up here. I'm using an empty water bottle that I put some wires on so I can hang it when I'm using it by the tires. But first thing you need to do is get some of that fluid out of your master cylinder reservoir, because it's all dirty fluid. You're going to have to pump all that through the system. So it's easier to just use a turkey baster or something up front here and get out as much as you can. You don't want it to be completely empty. You don't want air getting into the plumbing, but get as much of it out of it as you can. Put it in your catch bottle, and you'll use that later. We'll show you here in a little bit. So looking inside, you can see it's pretty empty down there, but looking at it from the side, you can't really tell because it's been coated and dark on the edges there. So the key for today is keeping an eye on the amount of fluid in the reservoir to avoid running it dry, because that can cause you a lot of problems and a lot of rework. Another thing to mention, mine does not have a filter down in here, but some vehicles like the Subaru does have a filter right here at the top, and you need to remove that before you can get in there and extract a lot of the fluid. So now that as much as we got the old .3 fluid out. Now we're going to fill it up with fresh, brand new .3 fluid, and that'll help us get the flushing process off to a good start. And you do want to make sure you have enough brake fluid, and make sure you have the right type, .3 or .4 or .5.1, whatever your vehicle calls for. I am starting today with 4 12-ounce bottles of .3 brake fluid, and I'm pretty sure that'll get me through the whole process. You also want to make sure you're using brand new fluid that you just opened, because even if it's barely been open a little bit, it's already starting to attract some of the moisture that's in the air. And for now, you can ignore the max fill line, because you're going to be adding more fluid as this goes. So just get it, you don't want it overflowing, but you can fill it beyond the max fill line. From here, the process is going to be the same at all 4 corners. First of all, one thing to point out for my Wrangler, the ABS system, the control module, is right next to the master cylinder. So for me, the order I'm going to flush the brakes is the same order you would use for a vehicle that does not have anti-lock brakes, and that is go to the furthest corner away from the master cylinder, which would be passenger rear, and then work around the vehicle, getting shorter and shorter line lengths. So it would be passenger rear, driver rear, passenger front, and then driver front, because it's right here underneath the master cylinder. If your ABS system is somewhere else, usually what you do is you go based on the ABS system. So if the ABS were on the other side of the engine bay, then your furthest away would be the driver's rear, and you do it like that. Should also point out that the service for the Jeep Wrangler, and probably a lot of other vehicles with ABS, the setup and the procedure for servicing and totally flushing the system includes the flush that we're doing today, and then a separate flush of just the ABS module that needs a code reader to initiate through the computer. So I'm not going to be doing that today. I don't have that capability. So there is a little bit of the system that will not get flushed today because I'm not activating the ABS system. All right, let me show you the setup I've got going, because it's going to be the same for all 4 corners. So this is the passenger rear, so furthest from the master cylinder. I have a piece of clear tubing, and I'll leave a link in the video description for everything and more information in the video description on all the parts and tools and things. But clear tubing, and this is the bleed screw on the caliper, and it has a rubber cap on it. So you take the cap off, and the tubing is, it's tightly attached to the bleed screw because we're going to loosen this and the fluid's going to come out. It's going to go up and over, and so this is all above the bleed screw. So any air that comes out will be forced up at the top, and then it will not be drawn back into the fluid lines. And then what we're going to be doing is using the brake pedal to pump fluid through the open bleed screw into this catch bottle. And there's fluid in the bottom of the bottle because if for some reason the system draws a vacuum and tries to pull in, it's going to be pulling fluid into the lines and not air, because the air is going to be trapped up here at the top. So this is the setup you can use, and this will enable you to do this by yourself. So the process is to use a wrench, in this case a 12mm wrench, to open the bleed screw, a quarter, maybe half of a turn, have something underneath it, it's going to leak a little bit, and then go up to the driver's seat, and you can just reach in and pump the brakes. Start with 5 times before you check the master cylinder, and you want to make sure the master cylinder doesn't run out, and then you are coming back here to check on the fluid. So when you're looking at the fluid, eventually you're going to want clear fluid that has no bubbles in it coming out, and so you're just going to keep pumping a few times, refill the master cylinder to keep it full, pump, check the bottle, empty it if you have to, and just keep doing that until you get the end result that you're looking for. Back here on the first one, remember you're going to have fluid in the master cylinder that's going to have to come through, and this is the furthest length of line. So this will take the most amount of time to get all the way flushed out. And for this one, it was about 50 pumps to get to where the fluid is nice and clear in the hose. No air bubbles at all. I did have to empty the catch bottle a bit, just because I ran out of room, and topping off the master cylinder, just like I said. So now I'm going to move the setup over to the driver's rear, get that going, and I take the tires off because it's easier to access and see everything, and of course to record it, but you don't have to. You can do this with the vehicle on the ground. You just do it from underneath, and it would work just fine. All right, all 4 sides are done. The vehicle's back on the ground, and now I'm just going to fill it up until the max fill line and not any further than that. And then we will be in good shape right there. And so, of course, I just filled it up to the max fill line. And one thing I didn't think about is that, 2 of my brakes, I just replaced the brake pads, but 2 of them I have not. And when I go to replace the front brake pads in the future, it's probably going to push fluid out of the reservoir. So I'll probably have to remove some fluid. So, when you're doing it, maybe based on how much wear you have left on your brake pads, you might not want to fill it up to max full, but maybe just like for me at that seam or something like that. And with everything all buttoned up, the only thing left is to start it up. Do some pumps of the brakes, make sure that everything is in working order. Go slow, make sure it'll stop for you before you just head out to the freeway. And then, after you let it sit overnight, take a look around all 4 tires, make sure there's no brake fluid on the ground. That might indicate that your bleeder is not quite fully tightened up. You want to make sure that those are not leaking as well. So with respect to the flush itself, hopefully the video has been helpful to show you how to do it, the process for doing it. It's really not that hard. It doesn't need a lot of expensive things. Brake fluid's pretty cheap. I went through 3 of those 12-ounce bottles to do it here on the Wrangler. It's an unlimited 4-door, so it has the longer brake lines. I only used 3 of the bottles, so that's pretty good, I think. I'll leave links to everything in the video description. Now, I had honestly never heard of flushing brake fluid before, working on a whole bunch of different vehicles, but they were all, Chevy, GM, Dodge, and it was never in the owner's manual to do that service. Then we bought the 2000 Subaru, and the owner's manual says you need to flush the brake fluid every, I think, 30,000 miles or something like that. So I did it for the first time with the Subaru, and there's a video for that. And
The Subaru has a very specific procedure. It's in the service manual on how to do it. And so that video shows you how to do it for the Subaru. So the method I'm going to be showing today on the Hound here, my Jeep Wrangler, is going to work for pretty much any vehicle out there. I'll point out a couple of differences, but whether or not you have ABS, it should all basically be the same. So hopefully this video will take you through it and show you how it's done.
So first, let's start up front at the master cylinder and figure out when you should actually do it. The service manuals for some vehicles actually have it included in as a maintenance schedule, and that's around about 30,000 miles. But otherwise, how do you know? For me, this is a 2011. I've never done it before, so now that I know it's a thing, it probably should have been done a while ago. So that's why I'm doing it today. Why I do it in general is brake fluid is a hydrophilic substance. That means that it absorbs water, it's attracted to water, which is great if you get water or condensation into your brake system. The brake fluid will be attracted to that water and not allow it to get into nooks and crannies and start rusting your brake lines from inside out. The downside is that when brake fluid gets hot, it by itself, it can withstand a lot of temperature. Water obviously will boil and turn into steam, and you start losing capability with your brake system. And that's the main reason to flush it out, is to get all the water and get fresh, new, non-watered brake fluid into your system. So there are two different methods that you can actually test your brake fluid that I've found. One of them is to use your multimeter and check for voltage across the brake fluid and your vehicle ground. And if it's more than 0.3 volts DC, then that's an indication that you should flush out your brake fluid. And another one is to use a test strip that checks for copper content in your brake fluids. And I'll leave a link in the video description for the test strips that I'm going to try out. And of course, I fully expect that this is going to tell me that I need to replace my brake fluid. And so brake fluid is a very caustic fluid. It will attack plastics and paint and things like that. So I have the metal tip of my multimeter in the fluid, but not the plastic. You can see, and I've got my meter set to 2 volts DC, and I'm going to touch the common of my meter to the alternator because I know that's grounded, and we look over at the meter and it comes up with 0.05 volts. Now online they say that if it is more than 0.3 volts you need to flush, and so this is well below 0.3. I have a hard time believing that this 13-year-old fluid does not need to be replaced. So I'm skeptical on using the multimeter as a method to determine whether or not it needs to be replaced. Touching another ground point here on the body, and it's still the same, 0.046 volts. So we'll see what the test strip says. All right, like I said, I will leave a link in the video description for these particular test strips. I'm going to put it in the brake fluid for a few seconds and then wait 90 seconds and see how much it changes and see if it gets up to 200 parts per million or more of copper. So stick it in there, make sure it gets all on the pad in there. All right, pull it out, you can see it's already changed colors. So let's see, we'll wait 90 seconds and come back. So here we are 90 seconds later, and it is almost a perfect match for 30 parts per million. You can see that 100 is darker, 200 is darker, 300 is darker. So the test strip also says, if you believe it, replacement is not necessary at this point. Still, that fluid is 13 years old, and I'm already committed to making this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and flush the system anyway. But yeah, I guess if you believe these test strips, which a lot of people swear by, I guess I don't need to do it. But let's go do it anyway. All right, the flush is done. Now let's have a post-flush discussion. Did I need to do it? The tests I did beforehand both indicated no. The internet is full of discussion on whether, if the owner's manual doesn't say you need to do it, whether you ever need to do it. Some people say every couple of years no matter what. Some people say every 30,000 miles. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Leave those in the comments. This is my old fluid, and you can't really see, but if I stare at it from the top, there's actually a bunch of particles down there as well. So there was some rust, who knows what, in the fluid at some point as well, and one of the calipers. This is the brand new fluid. Clearly a color difference. And I'm gonna go ahead and do those 2 tests again out of the master cylinder reservoir and see what they say. All right, the new strip is on the bottom, the old strip is on the top. I don't know if you can still believe the old one because it's been probably at least an hour, so it's kind of dried out, but both of them, remember the other one was showing about 30 parts per million, the new one's showing 30 parts per million. So I don't know what to make of these test strips. Either way, it says you don't need to replace the fluid, so that's good. And the multimeter is basically showing 0 volts, which I guess is what you would expect with fresh fluid. There's no conductivity in the fluid. So for whatever these tests are worth to you, there you go. That's how it turns out after I did the flush.
And then with respect to the testing, I don't know. I'd really like to get y'all's thoughts on the tests, what you think of them, how reliable you find them, B, how often you think the flush should be done, if at all, and any other thoughts or comments that you've got on ways that you've done this yourself. But like I said, I hope the video is helpful. Comments, questions in the comments. And if you would, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel. It keeps me going, coming up with more content for everybody. So until that next video, y'all take care and have a good one.